Hey there. So today is January 5th. Good day is January 5th. And this is part of the Meaningful Moments 365 days. Interestingly enough, I was about to share with you something about today, and it just further reflected what I was about to share. So it just seemed apropos at this moment. So often we think about meaningful moments, and the ones I've shared thus far, as being, these insightful pieces, and that is what they are. But if I were to say to you meaningful moments, you might actually think about, things that are feel-good kind of things. And we often discount things that might not be as pleasant or pleasurable to us as not having meaningful moments. But there are often meaningful moments, even sometimes more profound than those other things that feel good. And we remember sometimes it's the other things that might be unpleasant that also are meaningful. Perhaps they're even mishaps, and then we discover that they're meaningful. So I'll share with you this little story from yesterday. I was speaking with my daughter and talking to her about some different things that have happened over the holidays and bringing my present awareness to those events happening in our lives. And my cat was close by, and I was kind of stroking my cat in between. Suddenly we hear this big boom, and my cat and I both jumped, and I was like, holy shite, It sounded like something had bulldozed in the back of the apartment. So I got up and went to look, and this beauty here, about 60 pounds, was knocked clear off its shelf onto the ground. Don't exactly know how, have some ideas of how it could have happened, where the weight shifted from some props that we have holding it up on sides that are maybe a little heavier, but not exactly sure. Anyhow, it was over on the ground, and there was dirt everywhere, like it had exploded. And as I said, I think this is 60 pounds. And the first thing I thought of were these beautiful leaves of it coming out and what damage might be done to them. And so I hung up with my daughter, and my cat ran out of the room because he got scared, thinking it was somebody had had a wrecking ball come in the window or something. And I started to tend to it, and my first inclination was oh my gosh, what's happened to this plant? Is it going to be okay? That kind of thing. And then as I began to assess the situation, I had all these feelings, and they were not necessarily pleasant feelings. They were feelings of oh my gosh, is it okay kind of thing. And then it was, oh my gosh, this dirt all over this white carpet. And how am I going to get that all cleaned up? And assessing that it was unstable in the pot now, and the roots, needed to be secured again or held in that way. And I began cleaning it all up, and one thing came to the next. But the first thing that I did after I had that kind of flood of feeling was or emotion I should say, was just to sit still for a minute. I took a deep breath, and I started to tend to what needed to be done, which was, prop it up, see what the damage was, and some, these beautiful, I think I have 4 of these that broke, just split, cracked. So I began to speak with the plant, and we do that normally all the time. But as I was doing that, some songs came up for me, and I placed my hands on it, similar to when you're going to do a Reiki healing or something like that, and just held it right there for a moment. And whatever way you want to think about it, it was just loving the plant and thanking it. And the most profound, meaningful moment came to me as I sat with it, and then afterwards, once I had it stable again, and I cleaned and scrubbed and did all of that stuff, was resilience. That was the meaningful moment of it all. Resilience. Resilience. This plant that has been through several moves, has had a tough time sometimes, knocked around by movers, has birthed like, I think, a dozen plants off of this in the time that we've had her, and we've only really had her 6 years, or less than that, 5 years. And how it's grown and how many times it's given us some branches and helped heal our wounds. Even now, I have some of its leaves over in the freezer. And just thinking about resilience. And as I was feeling that sensation from the plant, I also felt it in myself and about the resilience I have. And it kind of flashed back stories of my own. And it seemed as if the whole thing came together in this perfect synchronicity. And it was a feeling afterwards when I reflected on it that, this meaningful moment had been extracted from the mishap. And yesterday I had talked about extracting these meaningful moments. And I realized that, these meaningful moments are just purely our awareness, our consciousness, our attention to that moment, whatever it may be, pleasant, unpleasant, perfectly in divine order, or what seems to be a mishap. But equally, it was really meaningful. So today, taking those bits and pieces of what life is happening for us at this moment, and being able to extract those meaningful moments that inform us, that guide us. And that's the presence we have when we're here right now in this present moment, and we bring our full attention to it and just open up to what comes out. So part of that resilience also informed me of progress in my own self. And we all get those opportunities to look back at our life and go, whoa, I've made some progress. We know ourselves, hopefully better than anyone else. And the more we get to know ourselves, the more that is true. And as we do know that, we have this feeling of honor and respect and compassion for all the things we've learned, all the experiences. And that's pretty meaningful. So I wanted to share that with you today. And I wanted to also share with you that this is a development that we have with our mind and our thinking and our emotions and our feelings, and it's part of that self-mastery. Tied into that type of consciousness shift that we have, there are lots of opportunities. And one opportunity for you tomorrow is going to be at 7 p.m. Central Time on Eventbrite. You can look for it. It's part of the In the Art of Living series. It's a free online webinar, and you can RSVP at Eventbrite. And tomorrow's topic is In the Art of Living, Breaking Free. And that's on so many levels. So over these meaningful moments, we're just going to be filled up with all kinds of ways that we allow ourselves to break free. Break free so that we are free and life is more fulfilling, and we just keep extracting all those meaningful moments for this precious life.